A Republican Ways and Means Committee release that explains the Congressional Budget Office's determination that it expects over $20 billion in revenue to come from the increased audits on taxpayers. That means families and small businesses making less than $400,000.
Without objection.
And Mr. Speaker, I now yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Texas, Ms. Van Duyne.
The gentlelady from Texas.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in full support of H.R. 23, which rescinds the additional funding for the already inflated IRS. I think we can all agree that the last thing Americans need right now is a government who is actively working against them. One of the most outrageous provisions in the Democrats' so-called Inflation Reduction Act was giving the IRS $72 billion taxpayer dollars to hire 87,000 additional agents, whose job would be to stalk transactions of everyday Americans and attack small businesses. Middle-class Americans and the small businesses that fuel our economy have been unable to catch a break over the last 2 years. That ends today. There's simply no reasonable rationale to make the IRS larger than the Pentagon, State Department, FBI, and Border Control together. If we're adding an additional 87,000 agents, why don't we send them to the southern border to help our border agents who are already overwhelmed and understaffed? I stand with my colleagues today in support of H.R. 23 to block the intrusive and unnecessary 87,000 new IRS agents. Americans deserve a government that will work for them, and stopping this funding is a first step in the right direction. I yield back.
I reserve.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from